Why is that so important?
So there's a major issue in Australia at the moment where people have B6 toxicity from synthetic vitamins, which is when they make vitamins in a laboratory, they add all these things in, and one of the things they add in is B6, and there's people who've been paralyzed and are in wheelchairs in Australia from taking vitamins because they've had far too much B6. And so that's just one of 100 different examples. There's issues with people having liver issues from turmeric extracts. There's all kinds of different issues that happen when you take synthetic vitamins and isolated compounds, because the body doesn't really know what to do with it. It's kind of like ultra processed foods in that way, because you think you take it in, and especially with vitamins, you think you're doing something good for your health, but your body doesn't really know what to do with it because it doesn't recognize it as food. And the people who are starting to experience really serious issues with that. And what we do that's different is we do whole food supplements. So we don't use any alcohol extractions. We don't do any isolated compounds. We don't do any synthetic ingredients. It's all basically just food, which has a very different impact on your body and your health compared to your average vitamins that are out on the market. And the sad thing about, the vitamins you get off the shelf is that they're, 80 or 90% fillers. They're not even the actual vitamin you think you're taking. And then what's left in there of the actual vitamin has been synthesized in a laboratory, probably extracted, which means they've taken, like the ashwagandha, for example, which is really good for stress, and soaked it in alcohol and then sold that alcohol water. So you're only getting the soluble parts of the ashwagandha. You're not getting the whole full spectrum of the active compounds that are in that, and the body doesn't recognize it. And we're seeing a lot of issues now with these kind of supplements and vitamins. A perfect example. As soon as you start pasteurizing it, and you're taking out a lot of the good bacteria, and you're taking out a lot of the good fats, and you're taking out a lot of the stuff in there. So humans have been consuming, cow's milk forever. But like what we do now is a very different thing to what our grandparents were consuming when it was just like milk straight from the cow with all the cream and everything on it. And that has a detrimental impact on the body. And it's the same with like, the low fat and all these kind of things. Like as soon as you take these natural whole foods and do all this extra processing through them, it becomes something different. And it's often something the body can't recognize. And so then it causes other issues on top of that. And so like, what we do, for example, is like ashwagandha, for example, which is an Ayurvedic root. I actually grow it on my farm here, but it's incredible for lowering cortisol levels. So it's really good for like stress and anxiety and that kind of thing. And what everyone else does is they'll take the ashwagandha, they'll soak it in some alcohol, they'll then they'll throw out the ashwagandha root, sell the alcohol. But what we do is we take the whole ashwagandha root and freeze dry it and powder it and put it into capsules. So you're getting the whole thing.